Here we go, folks. El Dorado game number 1. Again, just fascinating to me that over the first 2 to 3 weeks, people hated this map. No one wanted to play it, and now we're seeing it all the time. The players seem to be a bit more used to it. In the red, we've got Z40. Z40 comes in here with 2 wins, which isn't great, but he has this series and then one more series to play. He has to beat Target's win count. So he has to get 4 wins from the last 6. Meaning for me, I think the odds are very slim just because of the opponents he's up against. Z40 is a promoted player. Sebastian is a player who was relegated from Platinum and looks to be potentially heading back there. And then Hart is Z40's last opponent. And the way I predicted this group is that Nikov would be first, Sebastian or Hart would be second, and then the other third. Now, what gets fascinating, so we kind of covered Z40, right? He needs to get 4 wins. So he has to, I think mathematically, he doesn't have to win this series. I suppose he could get 1 win, and then he could 3-0 the last one, but it feels like getting a 3-0 against either of these players is going to be tough. So wins on the board for Z40 is the point. Sebastian, if he wins this series 3-0, he then goes up, and I believe he's 1 win behind Nikov. And then Nikov is the final round for Sebastian, which is actually in a couple hours after this. It's later on in the day. So there's a world where Sebastian gets a 3-0 here. He could leapfrog Nikov, take first place, and then he doesn't have to go into the playoffs. Because whoever goes first immediately goes to Platinum. And the playoffs are going to be crazy. So, Margugu was watching, talking a little bit earlier. Margugu was a player who was 3rd place in his group in the previous Gold season. Went into the playoffs against the 2nd place player, Lan, who had like 4 more wins than Margugu did in the groups, and then Margugu went through the playoffs. So, we'll see. Dock on the backside for Sebastian. We should see a dock from both, though, as the water element has become very important, and it's always been very important. There's tons of food. You have the fish underneath your TC. You also have the boar. You also have the deer. You also have the turkeys. We've seen fast castles on this map. And it's risky, but we've seen it actually pay off and win games. So that just shows you how much food there is. So I'm going to try and ease into my day. This is going to be a 10-hour day, so there may be a certain level of energy that people expect from me. I might be a step or 2 below that. My apologies. I hope people understand, though. I don't know if anyone out there talks for a living. But talking nonstop over 10 hours is very exhausting, and I'd like to have a voice, so... And I also have to sneeze now. What's happening? Hold on a second. I gotta get tissues. I don't have tissues in here. Apparently, I'm gonna sneeze more. I'll just follow Sebastian's eagle. Just give me a second, guys. Sorry. All right. Yeah, my allergies are always at its height in the morning. I don't know what it is. But I'm sure someone out there is going to be able to relate to that, so I didn't have any tissues here just to get past it. I love how I'm like, sorry guys, the production quality might be slightly worse because I'm going to be less energy. And then immediately leave the room. I'm the worst. All right. So the expectation, I think, from Z40 side is probably scouts. You have the ability to hop in and out of your houses with the Khmer, which can be nice in messy situations. As I say it, though, he does have the villagers heading to gold, so he might be making some navy. I think it'd make a lot of sense for Sebastian to mix in archers alongside his eagles or whatever he's making out of his barracks here. He's actually going to go for militia. And I have yet to see the Arabia-style 2 militia drush. But it seems to be what he's going to do here, because he's late on gold. So I don't think he'll be able to go for man-at-arms. The 3 militia, even 4 militia, we've seen in games where players really want to control the map. But it's either he was late to gold for what he wanted to do, or this is all calculated from him. Docks are pretty far away from each other. It takes a long time to get over there and kill the fish. So I think you could... I think what I would opt to do... I'm not saying this is best, but... I would always have a very defensive approach with the water. So I would open strong on land, and then I would just delay my fire galley, and even just keep it at home, possibly. It just takes such a long time to get over there. Archer range opening for Z40. Villagers on wood. Villagers on gold. Works well for the Navy, works well for the archers. Hasn't produced an archer yet, I'm noticing. And he's going to queue up too as he quick walls. And the little militia eagle hasn't really been able to do that much, so it does obviously force some quick walling and force some reactions here from Z40. Z40 is a solid player, man. It's just everyone in gold is so freaking good. It's probably disappointing for him to have come through and then be, in the position he's in right now with only 2 wins. But it's not that big of a surprise if you know how good Nikov, Sebastian, Hart, El Matador, Target are. And it's not like there's just one relegation spot. There's multiple. And oh my goodness, Sebastian, he wants that first place spot. He wants those wins over Nikov. 2 turkeys died to the TC fire. He's going to steal 2 more. He steals 400 food from underneath that TC. Something that Z40 probably shouldn't let happen, but I want to see exactly how this played out here. Sorry. Because I didn't even notice it. So yeah, Z40's distracted. And, oh, excuse me, I got it wrong. Actually, like, it looked like 4 or 5 turkeys went down. And then 3 got stolen. He doesn't have a single turkey underneath his TC. So, Sebastian with the plays. And we'll catch up to live time now, but that's huge. Because you look over here, and you've still got 800 food of turkeys available. On top of the little bit of fish that's available, on top of the fish you have on the outside. So that's brutal, dude. That is just cutthroat stuff here from Sebastian. And now you've got to think like transitioning long-term here in towards other things, like transitioning in towards, farms. Everything else is going to be more needed here. Fletching is in for Z40, though. And actually, much better fight for Z40. A much better fight for Z40. As long as he keeps these archers alive. Oh, that's disappointing. He was just so close there to being able to keep that archer alive and also kill the skirms. But 3d3 KD, that does not include turkeys. So, there's no turkey stats. And Z40, even without his turkeys... Imagine if he had the turkeys. Look at his resources right now, but... I'm going to say, even without him, maybe thinking about Castle Age. Starting Scout really has paid off to kill that skirm and weaken the other one. And Sebastian kind of on the defensive right now when it comes to land. But I think he senses that there's going to be some archer movement over here. And that eagle should be enough to protect his skirms. And Z40 is just going to run away. All right, Z40 using his market. Sells all of his stone. He's going to click up to Castle Age here. Dang. I'm concerned, though, because he doesn't... I mean, this is really all in. He doesn't really have a way to counter Skirm Eagle at the moment. Like, he would need a stable. He would maybe need some scouts. I like this, though. He needed food, so he just places a mill in the shorefish. That's 400 food that can come in very quickly. Sebastian, up to 5 fishing ships. Now working his way towards 6. And he's also adding another fire galley. So I think we might actually see him make a move over towards Z40's fish. And Z40 will not be able to really defend his fish because he's committed everything towards the middle. And this could all fall apart before Castle Age for him because the skirms are coming forward. And this is a player who hasn't had a lot of wins, right? So he's taking risks. And then he was down bad due to the turkey fiasco. So, he's tried to take the risk here to use the market to head up towards Castle Age, but he's going to lose every single archer here. The positive is that, he's not going to die. He's not going to lose his villagers. The negative, obviously, unlikely he's going to be able to accomplish much with archers then in the next stage. So he's going to add a stable. Sebastian will see this. I don't think Sebastian is going to expect this Castle Age time, though. And honestly, as the scout, again, gets excellent value, that starting scout has been the MVP. 3 kills this game. If you make, 2 knights here, you clear it all up. It's not that unrealistic for Z40 to have a chance here. You could also fight this back with vills. It's not archers. So you could just, pull the weak villagers into houses or town centers. They'll have no upgrades, but the knights are on the way, and Sebastian's probably like, huh? What? How is he up already? That's insane. I killed all of his turkeys. Anyways, Archers continue to die, which is sad for any archers that come out onto the field. Z40 still trying to add as much as he can. Like, he's actually adding a cav archer. He's going cav archers with Khmer. When you think cav archers, you think it's good to go for cav archers if they have, upgrades long term. But this is not a long term map, right? The goal here is going to be to control the middle area, which is always visible to the players, which has gold and which has stone. I love the hold from Sebastian, but I also like the micro from Z40. Sebastian added the spearman, and because Z40 is at the limit with things, he never even added a blacksmith, right? He doesn't have any armor. He's simply just opting for the numbers, and he's running out of gold quickly here. Sebastian's a minute from the next stage. He's going Eagle Spear combination right now. And I feel like, he only has 2 fires. I was going to say there's potential he kills the fish, but he never moved out with it. He does have, a few more fishing ships at home. Yeah, Z40 is really using every bonus. Again, like, imagine if he had the turkeys. The fact that he just ran out of food underneath his TC actually delayed this massively. He's going to take this fight now. And is just now getting armor. So maybe, like, right as Sebastian is trying to get upgrades on his infantry is when Z40 could find a decent fight. Like, right now. I think you need to take the fight now. Because that's your best chance at killing this. But he's going to wait for some scorpions, which Khmer could do a really good job with, actually. And Z40's in the middle. I mean, Sebastian can see this, and Sebastian's not happy about it. Sebastian's on the way. And we will see a massive engagement here. And this engagement could likely decide the game. Because if this castle's up, you could say goodbye to your chances. El Dorado's been very snowbally. We did have a game the other day where someone had the middle and then wasn't able to get the win. But it's rare. And Sebastian, unable to get the walls down around his vills. He does benefit from armor on his vills from the infantry upgrades. That's an Incan bonus. And the knights have killed a villager or 2. There's a scorpion on the way, but it's just too tough to kill these villagers with all the army around as well. And so even though Sebastian will lose villagers, this castle will complete. And with the castle completed, Z40, he can still kind of take gold over here, but it's not looking good. And he just calls the GG there. Every El Dorado game has been similar, right? We have some fights on water, we have some fights on land. And then there's always a build-up towards a castle. And it feels like, while getting to Castle Age faster is important, you need to have army control. And that's something that Z40 sacrificed for this strat. Overall, I don't think a bad strat, because it's a risky play, right? And with slightly better fights against Sebastian, maybe it's a better situation for him. But wasn't able to get the job done. Of course, he had no fish from here, and he also basically had no gold. He needed to have the scorpions faster, or I think he needed fights with those knights against the army before it was upgraded. But even still, Sebastian played really well. Sebastian gets the first win. And Z40 will fall back to his home map now. Res collected in this game. Sebastian collecting a bit more food. But Killer Instinct from Sebastian on the turkeys, I think, had big impact here. Like, I think Z40 wouldn't have been all in had he had those turkeys. Maybe could have made more knights. Maybe could have had an upgrade or 2 that he lacked here. It definitely played a role. So, all right, Z40, he needs a win. If he gets 3-0'd in this series, he is officially relegated. But you snag a win, especially snag 2 wins, then the goal would be to snag enough wins to equal 4 in total when he plays up against Hart next. We have Malians for Z40. And TC is going up instantly for both. Sebastian's the Japanese. I had expressed earlier how I just don't like the Japanese on this map. I'm sure Sebastian's going to prove me wrong, but I personally just don't like it because this map seems about transitioning towards the late game, and I don't think the Japanese have the best of late games when compared to maybe some other civs. But like some of the really good late game civilizations were banned. Like Mongols was out, Chinese was out. Those 2 civs are top tier on this. So they're both going to go for the same build. This is the build that players have been doing on this map. You build your TC, you chop your straggler trees, and then you make 1 to 2 fishing ships. Just a small thing here. So usually, like instinctively, players are always going to prep palisades around their villagers, okay? Because they think their villager could be attacked there. Sebastian has not done that because he recognizes it's very unlikely anything will ever attack that villager because it's a starting camel, not a starting scout. Where's the camel? Here. So, I mean, Z40 could lose his villager if Sebastian would bring his own vill, but that's unlikely. So, a small little tidbit that I felt was worth mentioning. Yeah, so then after their first 2 fishing ships, you then save up the wood for a lumber camp, and then you go lumber camp the side. There's hunt everywhere on this map, which I think will be important. Now, the last time that Z40 played this, he basically gave up water, walled like this direction, and ended up taking it towards Castle Age. I could see Sebastian, a player of his caliber, he'll recognize the weakness of Japanese long terms potentially. Actually, the more I think about it, I think the Japanese face up really well against the Malians. I actually don't think the Japanese late game is bad against Malians. I should maybe take that back, but I could see Sebastian maybe even going forward here, like trying to really pressure with man-at-arms or something. Because this area, this mountain area, becomes so important. Wouldn't it be more interesting if players had a large amount of stone and gold around the TC, so at least it's not straight GG if you don't get the middle? You mean for El Dorado? I mean, we have a lot of maps that give us lots of different styles. There's 11 different maps in the pool. If I had a 5-map pool, I wouldn't include El Dorado because I think it doesn't produce... The games themselves can end quite quickly, but I don't see an issue with El Dorado as is. It's honestly, the map has been around for a very long time, and there are still ways to win without just like a castle in the middle. Like the reason we're seeing games end with castles in the middle is because players are taking... They're not controlling the map as much. They're taking extreme risks, so that's part of the map. El Dorado's an older map. I think it's fine. But I can understand you maybe not enjoying it as much if the game ends quickly, and that's fair. But I would suggest you watch the Cyclops and Winchester game on El Dorado. It was ridiculous in so many different ways. And it would be unexpected. I think everything that happens in that game is going to come off as slightly unexpected, so. Nah, hi Max. I haven't had my mind on ranked at all. I've been focusing on TTL here. So Sebastian's on the way to feudal. Is bringing in a bit of food from his elephants. He takes the elephant underneath the TC, no problem. Also has the goats to work with. He's got his barracks up. He's headed to gold. Now, the barracks going up at this time tells me he wants to make army. And he's scouting with intent. He's scouting like he's looking for something to hit here. So I doubt we'll see this villager make a second dock. Z40 is actually, to me, I think he's expecting the water play from Sebastian. Because that's what a lot of players have been doing. And I think that he's just prepping to give up water and hoping to go in towards land here. But he has to be very careful. His camel has not been active, has not been scouting to see what Sebastian's doing. I expect a lot more of this scouting with the camel in Platinum. If you guys have truly watched every single cast I've done of TTL thus far, you will know that I have said this like 16 times. But seriously, the scouting needs to be better. And it will be better come Platinum. Players should not be surprised by army in this type of instance, in my opinion. Actually, just one militia from Sebastian, though. But I think he canceled his plan because he saw walls. And because of the long distance. But you see this? Z40 sees the barracks now. So what's Z40 going to do? Is he going to try a fast castle anyways? Is his reaction going to be to wall? He could be scared. That could be man-at-arms. To me, it looks like he just wants to wall up. And Sebastian changed his plan. He's going to make some fire galleys. I mean, he could still have done that in combination anyways, but... What I would have maybe liked to have seen here is Sebastian's trying to distract the TC fire, and he's just going to use the militia to kill with leftover zebras. What I honestly would have liked to have seen, I know Sebastian saw walls, but I think still go man-at-arms with a forward archer range and really pile on the pressure here. Or like, even man-at-arm tower. I really think that you could get some value because Z40 is kind of at the limit right now with his resources. Really trying to get up to the next stage. No, Platinum is not starting next month because it is the 1st of September. So Platinum is this month. If it was yesterday, it would have said that on the 31st, then technically it would be next month. Platinum starts in a week. So the next like 4-ish days are free for the players to finish their groups. Wednesday and Thursday, we have the playoffs for gold. So it's 2 best-of-5s Wednesday, 2 best-of-5s Thursday. And then come the weekend is when Platinum officially begins. So yeah, about a week away. Z40 really has this build down, though. He really looks comfortable here. This is a nice build order. I don't think it's too bad for Sebastian. He didn't overinvest into land, which some players will sometimes do and not get value. And he's, you know, going to add the second dock so his fish is a little bit more efficient. Clear up the water, head out towards land. And you can tell he's thinking late game scouting and map control because he's adding the stable. That might be for a knight, for a scout, probably both. If Liquipedia says it's in October, Liquipedia can't be trusted. Liquipedia, I know that certain people... I mean, Liquipedia is amazing, right? This is mainly joking what I'm about to say, but Liquipedia, the information that's there is put there by humans. And humans are fallible, so, you know, humans make mistakes, so it's not... It's a great resource, but come to the source. I don't know what they're saying there. I think I might just say that when it ends, right? It probably has the end date of being in October. Never mind, I was looking at Platinum playoffs. Aha! See, like I said, Liquipedia is perfect. Liquipedia is perfect and can always be trusted. Okay, so look at this scouting from the camel, guys. This camel has now seen the stables going up. He added his own stable as well. He's going to add a knight. He's looking for potential for damage. And he's just going to full wall this to play extremely safe because he's going for the eco boom on land. Second town center now coming up. That will be faster than what Sebastian could say with his. And low risk gameplay from Z40. Even double checking to see if there's holes here. So I think he's played it well. Won't have as much hunt to work with long term, so we'll get horse collar before his first farm. And he's honestly not going to make a lot. It's just going to be a knight or two to do some damage. And then take it to the late game. I think he should run right past his TC. And I think Sebastian's almost expecting it. Like, Sebastian's worried about it, but he can't full wall. Just run right past it with that knight. Get right through there. Just go through. Sacrifice the camel. Run right by. Yep. See you later. See you later, alligator. And the camel's even going to get away as well. Now, it's good from Sebastian. He prepped walls here, and he knew that was going to happen because it could have been a nightmare. The camel went down. I'm sad for the camel, but nice play. But also really good situational awareness from Sebastian because Sebastian had prepped the walls. So Sebastian's not going to be broken by this. Sebastian will add a monastery. I'm sure Z40 will do the same at some point. And then Sebastian should be able to drop the second TC as well. But okay, if you think about the strengths of Malians, let's just talk about the civs for a second. It's cav and infantry, right? They don't really... The ranged units are not all that strong. So, you know, the cav can be countered by the Japanese with the Japanese halbs. The infantry, the Japanese have arguably better infantry. I think they do in an infantry v infantry battle anyways. So, the more I think about it, the more I actually might prefer the Japanese in some way. Sorry, I think what I prefer about the Malians, though, is all of your wood buildings being discounted is so much better here than just cheaper lumber camps and cheaper mining camps. So I think the wood savings for Z40 has allowed him to do everything he's done. He's made so many buildings already. Remember, he has not had any food income from fishing ships since Z40 kills the villager on the shoreline there for Sebastian. So Nikov is out there right now. Nikov's first in this group, and he does not want Sebastian or Hart to pass him. And Nikov's final round is against Sebastian. So Nikov would love for Z40 to get a win here in this series. Because again, if Sebastian 3-0s, I think he's then just one win under Nikov, which means a 2-1 victory over Nikov in the final rounds. Means that Sebastian overtakes him. But if it's a 2-1 victory here for Sebastian, then Sebastian would have to 3-0 Nikov, which would obviously put a lot less pressure on Nikov. I feel like cav archers for Japanese could be really strong here, but I'm just a big fan of Japanese cav archers. On open maps like this, I think it's worth it to go for. This is Z40's best map in the tourney, man. I know Res Collected doesn't look like it's all that much right now for him, but I think he's going to be pretty happy. It looks like he did delete a knight, and unfortunately the other one got converted. So actually 2 knights down now. That really hurts him. But I'm currently looking at the amount on food and the amount of farms between the two of them. And I just feel as though the amount on food is going to make a big difference here. But a lot of players have sat back and let Z40 boom. And I think after the knights have been converted / deleted, Sebastian feels like he's got an opportunity. There's also no camel for Z40 anymore to scout the map. So Z40 is very much in, play defense and get relics mode as we head towards Imp, but he's not expecting some pressure here. I could still see Z40 sensing this. I feel like you're kind of left in the dark at the moment. You don't really have a clue of what your opponent's doing. I could see an outpost coming up here shortly. I feel like you should be doing that just in case there's any type of pressure coming in. Like there, you delete your knight. Now you got to be like, okay, I've got nothing out there. Alternatively, though, I like how he's adding a scout. And I also think that the mount he has on stone right now is all in preparation for a potential push. But you don't need to kill your opponent with this push if you're Sebastian. You just do not want this castle to be here. Or here. Or here. You're pushing him back into that corner. And you're allowing yourself to expand. Res collected now. Man, Sebastian's actually pulled ahead in a lot of these. He's got a lot on gold. And a lot on wood. And food he will catch up. I think he might end up buying some food here. Because he's rushed down that market. Scout from Z40's gone this way. Because he's thinking it's a relic war right now. As he's going to get relic number 2. But he did just spot a house with this monk. And Scout went in underneath the TC. Siege pressure hasn't actually happened yet for Sebastian. Sebastian just waiting. Like he wants this to be a big surprise. Now, if you are firing on to this town center from the mangonels, then, or with the mangonels, sorry, you're doing additional damage. Oh god. Oh god, don't do it. Oh no! Oh no! No! You can't place the castle there. He didn't know it was going to be siege. The surprise is working. Oh god. Oh man, this is oh god. Z40 had no clue. He had no clue that the siege was coming. And so it's actually better for Sebastian that he waited a bit. And oh, this is rough. I mean, you do have to drop the castle, but the castle doesn't save any of the town centers. Oh man, such great timing from Sebastian, such great patience. Again, he knows that he has a hill here, so he's doing hill damage. When he attacks this TC, I think he will be up here. It's another thing I think Platinum players will use a lot more, the hills. And we have a pause now. Let's hope nobody dropped or anything, but this is rough. Oh man, and now Z40's like, okay, I've done enough. He has to do a lot of crazy things to stop me here. So I'm just going to run forward, drop a castle, go in. And then try and win that Trevor. Such a great job from Sebastian, though. It's so clean. I think Z40, he didn't really expect it. And I think he, after having very little vision on the map, should have thought about maybe making more for map control. But he didn't want to make knights or camels because he knew Sebastian had monks. And that scout that he did add, I thought would go immediately here. It didn't. It killed a monk, which is obviously fantastic. But that shows what Z40's mind was on. He neglected to think about this type of push. And now your game plan has been ruined here, and everyone has a plan until they're smashed in the face with mangonels. Knight from Sebastian gets deleted. We have redemption for Z40, but he will lose his second and third TC. He does have another one coming up over here. But that's painful, obviously. And redemption, like, this is what the best players do. The best players take initiative, and they force you to react to it, and the players they're up against, obviously, are good enough to find an answer. So Z40's now found an answer. He's gone for redemption monks to convert the siege. But now you can't take the siege. And now your opponent's on the way to imp. And now Sebastian's just one step ahead of you because he's going to go for light cav to go kill your monks. So, like, well, we'll see what happens, actually. You could at least convert the buildings. Now, he will go for the mangonels here. And Sebastian just says, screw it. Now I'm going to go in here and try and kill everything I can. But, you know, you could just see how good a player Sebastian is and how he sees the game. It's like, you know, I'm not a boxing guy, but like, you know, like a 1-2 punch, like a setup, you know? You jab and then they expect the jab and then you uppercut. I don't know. Is this making sense to a bunch of gamers? I'm again, not a big boxing guy, but I think that makes sense. The light cav is also not going to be a long-term thing here. I think it's just to clear out a couple of the monks. The big thing here is the trebs as well that need to be dealt with. The houses could be converted. And you got to do something. You see villagers. I mean, the Gebetto there are able to protect the monks, so that's fine. This is really good from Z40. He's balanced his economy quite well. It's just that pending Imperial Age, that's a problem. If Sebastian overboomed with villagers and goes to cancel some villagers right now and accidentally cancels Imp, Z40's got a good chance. I've done that before. I canceled my Imp at 98% that way once. One of many reasons why I'm not here in this group right now. Okay, so units are switching sides and everyone's really confused. I don't really think that anyone's really happy about this. But this is war. You don't like it. Still messy. Now we have Samurai coming through from Sebastian. Samurai should actually kill the Gebettos quite quickly if they get it close enough. But Gebettos should be able to use their range. And the range is working out. But we have Trebs behind all this, which is important. And I imagine Z40's distracted. And the Samurai, with their bonus damage against other unique units, did some damage. Another castle's coming up. Another Treb. Whoa, he's not even going for the Treb. That's interesting. I think that's the first thing I disagree with from Sebastian this game. I get it. You have a lead. And if you're able to squeeze in conscription and then go for Trebs, then you have faster producing military. And then, you know, then you also have the Treb lead. And then it's just like a double whammy. But you have the position. Surely it has to be Trebor there every single time. Because what are you going to produce faster? Light Cav? That, as of now, have no upgrades? Not sure I'm a fan of that. If Z40 survives in this game, we might remember that. But I think it'll still be really difficult for him to survive. Also, 0 on gold right now for Sebastian. None. He's building a TC on gold. Could maybe get another TC here to protect this gold, but that's pretty exposed. Here come the Gebetto. And these ladies are not happy about the Treb. And they're going to maybe do something about it. Sebastian's going to start to drop towers now. You tell there's a little bit of worry from him right now. I do like the activity from Sebastian here. Monk giving him vision on this area. Spearman sitting near the stone, so he'll know if Z40 goes there, because Z40 will likely have to vacate this area. Still feels like Sebastian has just enough to hold this control. The conscription upgrade is helping him produce and flood the map. He will have 3 trebuchets here, and Z40 was so far behind. Z40 will lose his castle. Converts the Mangonel. It's nice. Try and use the Mangonel against the Trebs here. Bit of a misclick, though. Gebetto's getting some really nice kills, but you need the castles to make Gebetto's and your castles down. And Sebastian, still 5 on gold. Like, still just does not have a lot on gold. But maybe could win this game with pure light cap here at this point. You could tell where the game plan got a little messy here for Sebastian. But the initial... The plan to get this position is allowing him time to build up towards whatever else he needs to, and... Dang. You're left with 6 monks, 1 knight, 1 Gebetto right now. If you're Sebastian... Z40, sorry. All of that will be countered by pure light cav. He's abandoning ship here. He's trying to drop a castle here. And Z40 is well aware that he will likely lose that castle as well as he taps out and calls the GG. He's just too many steps behind here. And this is just Sebastian showing his awareness in his class. And he played the Japanese very well. You know, I'd said it earlier. Remember when I said that if I see my opponent's walling, I would still go man-at-arms and try and pressure it? I'd probably do that. Z40 walls it out. Z40's in castle age faster. My castle age time suffers. Z40 pulls ahead. Z40 has map control. Everything falls apart. Sebastian initially wanted to go man-at-arms. Used the scouting, saw the walls, and then just adapted his whole build, and his castle age time wasn't that much later, was it? Castle age time was 2 minutes behind. It was 2 minutes behind, but he had a couple fishing ships, and when he made it to the next stage, he was able to catch right up with the TCs and res collected. That was a really good game from Sebastian. And I think, like, honestly, I think this is one where Z40's success against El Matador in his previous round actually hurt him. Because Matador, if you go back and watch that cast, he also really struggled just holding map control on the mountain. It was more of a middle map control fight from those two. And so I think Z40, he won that game against Matador, like, pretty easily. And so he's probably like, yeah, this game plan can't be stopped. This is my game plan. But he just didn't think about the potential of something snowballing here before he got his castle up. And it really cost him there. But Sebastian, obviously... He's a top player, and a player who could win 3-0 here. Could maybe be in position to steal #1 spot from Nikov in this group. So, he's that good. Sebastian has gotten better, guys, since he lost that crazy game against Viper and Platinum and unfortunately got relegated. Like, Sebastian will be an insane threat if he does get promoted to Platinum, but we don't know if he will, because as it stands right now, Sebastian will end up going to the playoffs, which could be up against some other big names who've also been performing well in TTL Gold. Anyways, Vietnamese, you know where the opponent's town center is. Z40's down 2-0. He's going to head forward, try and steal some resources from the opponent. Sebastian saw that scout, though. He caught vision of it. I don't know if he knows what direction it's running, but he knew he had sheep here, and he's trying to bring them in towards his TC. Yeah, he sees the scout now, and he gets a hit. That's really nice. This is actually a really nice start against the lane for Sebastian because you have almost all your sheep and you got the first hit on Z40 Scout and you're just tracking it. Z40 can't lame you now because you are right next to him. He's like, fine, you want to tour my base? Go ahead. I'll just follow you. Here's my weird tree, which is called Tree Dead. There's also like Tree F and weird things. I don't know if you guys can hear a weed whacker outside, but there is... weed whacking going on by my my neighbor outside, so that's fun stuff. It's very loud. That's not cool. It's very not chill. But you know, you got weeds out there, so that's all good. Anyway, Z40, he isn't in a bad spot now. He could just run home and find his own resources, but he wasn't able to get the big lead he would have wanted here in Dark Age. Can the tree make dead jokes? Like a dad joke? I like it. I like it. But yeah, some of the trees, I don't know if they removed it. Some of the trees have letters associated with them. And I remember graveyards used to have it, but I wonder if it's a capture age thing. Because it used to be like tree G and tree F. And what was interesting is, oh god, there's so many classic things. But, like, I remember you couldn't build palisades over tree G, but you could build palisades over tree F. You used to be able to look at the HP on the tree, and this all seems so weird for some of you. And the HP would tell you if you could palisade over it. Like the HP over a forest tree is 20. So if it's part of a forest, you couldn't. But if it was ever 30 HP, you could palisade over it. I'm sure this is really entertaining stuff. Anyways, we know Sebastian, right? He's going to open, as Magyar should, aggressively with scouts. And I think Z40 will also try and be somewhat aggressive and go scouts with the Vietnamese. We've seen a lot of scouts into archers or scouts into cav archers with the Vietnamese this far in TTL. But yeah, I don't know if Capture Age is just changing it. Can I look? Hold on. We're going to go to the game and click the trees. No, it just says tree dead. Oh, it's probably our map script because it's a customized map script. Just dead trees. No tree Fs. Okay. Tell us more about tree letters. I will. You know, back in the 1800s, they actually gave... No. So, you know, something Sebastian is going to have to do eventually is find his opponent as well. But map's looking pretty good. This map is extremely open, though. So, I guess the good thing about this map is even if your gold is bad, there's going to be another one. It's similar to Lands Madness in that. God, by the way, how many people here saw the Land Madness game last night between Stark and Kingston? Woo-wee! That was crazy. Best Land Madness game we had thus far in TTL. That game is what sells people on putting Land Madness in their tournaments. Unfortunately, prior to that point, most of the Land Madness games have been kind of one-sided, where the game had ended pretty early on in Castle Age or something, but... Yeah, so if you don't want spoilers on what happened in that game, and you don't want spoilers in Stark Kingston, then I would say just, like, mute for 30 seconds, because I'm about to talk about it, okay? So, you know, fair warning. Give you some time to run across the room if you have this up on your TV or something, and just go mute. Okay, so... Stark hadn't won a single game in all of TTL. And he ended up winning his third game in that series in a post-imp battle. It was Khmer versus Magyars. But Stark had, like... I mean, it was crazy. There was just scouts and knights and light cav and everything everywhere. Villagers were dying like crazy. But Stark had, like, 160 vills. He built 4 castles with ballistics and Bodkin arrow just to protect his eco. And he went pure paladin. He didn't think about pikemen. He didn't research pikemen the entire game with Magyars. Just knights on knights on knights with tons of eco. It was really sick. Especially because the poor guy had just been slapped around, you know, the entirety of the group stage. It was a really nice win from him. And it makes that group really interesting, guys, because I think Kingston is then at... I think Kingston is at 8 wins. Yeah, this is what that group looks like. We can look at it a bit later, but basically... It's Dragonstar 9 wins, Slam 9 wins, Kingston 8 wins, Sito 7 wins. But the final round is Sito versus Kingston. Meaning if Sito beats Kingston 2-1, the top 4 players in that group are 9, 9, 9, and 9. Which would be ridiculous. But then they'd have to go to the tiebreak, and that absolutely could happen. Yeah, the Golden Pit game was also really good. Kingston full stonewalled the map. So, it would be ridiculous. There's also the small chance that if Sito gets 3-0'd and then overtaken 3-0 Stark, that Sito gets relegated. So that's always fun. You see the difference in approach here, guys? You see the difference in confidence? Z40's like, I need to wall everywhere because I'm very scared of this kid. And already he's being attacked somewhere else. This is the home map for Sebastian. And so you would expect Sebastian to look a lot more comfortable here. Interesting walling from Z40. I don't think this is the right build at all. I think this is a player who is mentally defeated at the moment. And he feels as though he's been bested already. And it's a bad look for him, but you know, he really needs to get those walls down here. And if you're playing an open map like this, and you see your opponent... Oh, God. Oh, debated. If you see your opponent, as Sebastian steals a sheep, is putting this much of their time into walling, and you've killed a Vil, you think your eco is so much better. Because the eco efficiency for you is so much better. I know it's just 5% here, but 5% adds up. You can either, you know, have a game play out like this, or you can have a game where both players play with the same efficiency, but one of them be Romans. Ha-ha! Because their eco efficiency is really strong. Uh-oh, scouts dive in. Scouts regret it. Scouts back up. Sebastian has 7 scouts and is still making more of them right now. Home map means the one they picked. So in this case, game 1 was the neutral map. So the map that was left over after the bans. Game 2 was Z40's home map. So the map that he picked. And then since it's play all 3, we are now on Sebastian's home map. Okay, I thought there was going to be a hole there, and I was about to cry for Z40. Magyar scouts. There's 9 of them now. They're just going to attack the houses, and if Z40 feels as though this is going to protect him, he may send his spearmen and his archers forward right now to catch out Sebastian in a counterattack. But the house is slowly going down. You would need 2 villagers repairing that, otherwise that house is a goner. And look at Sebastian. Sebastian's like, okay. Use the other scouts to see his army. Dude, please repair that with another villager. Come on, man. Come on, come on, come on, come on. He panics. There gotta be a hole there, though, right? What? There's not a hole. The classic DE stutter when you patrol to go in with melee units. I've noticed that's happening with a lot of people's knights. Happens, but doesn't really hurt Sebastian here, because Z40 should never really be out there with that army anyways. It's sad to see it get worse for Z40, because it's already not looked good, but again, I think it's clear to me, lacking confidence here up against a player who is playing amazing and it never feels like he could lose to Z40. Yeah, dude, I wouldn't say it's fair that Sato's necessarily struggling. Let me put it to you this way. Every single result between the top 4 players in that group... Actually, no, the top 5 players in that group has been a 2-1. There hasn't been a single 3-0. Which is rare compared to some of the other groups. Anyway, Sebastian. He'll likely click up to Castle Age faster at this point. And he even has a couple skirmishers on the field. Doesn't need upgrades on them just to hold back the spearmen. And could see Sebastian go for the kill early if he wants to go for a siege workshop. Wouldn't shock me, but it also seems like he can just get a lot done using these scouts and playing in towards knights in the next stage as well. Russell says Z40 is playing Arabia like me. Well, then I'm sure it's an honor for Z40. Oh, he double-clicked all of his Vils. Oh, no. Oh, God. We've all been there. Oh. God, now he's housed. Ah! No! Oh, this is rough. Poor guy. Don't let this take away from his run. I mean, you know, the fact that he was able to make it into gold was an achievement in and of itself for him. And, you know, that was going to be the talking point for a lot of the players who made it through silver. It's just like, was their peak making it through silver? Can they actually stick with it in gold? And this group is so tricky. I just think mentally, like, he's just kind of fallen out of the game, and he's overchopped the wood line. And, well, that's just going to take this from bad to worse, won't it? So Sebastian takes the fight. Z40 does have spears. He will have his own scouts, so it will not end the game. I think Sebastian realizes, actually, he's got some stuff here. The problem here for Z40 is, you know, the investment into scouts keeps him alive for now. But as I like to say, he is treading water, but he will still drown because he is so late to Castle Age compared to Sebastian. Sebastian is going to be in Castle Age in 30 seconds. It just kind of feels like it could be too little too late, but army count for Z40 is still quite high. And we'll see. I'm just going to back away here with these scouts, Sebastian. He won't be too worried about these spears, especially since they're weak. And Z40 probably needs to save these archers. Because if you're going to win this game, you need to win through your archer mass. And Sebastian knows that's the case. And Sebastian waiting for an opportunity, using his skirms where he can. Waiting for light cav. Good job with the skirms. Archers, they're scared. They're backing away. But those attack upgrades for free with the Magyars. D40's on the way to the next stage. He's probably going to build up towards archers and spearmen here. He's done a good job now at this point to stabilize things. It's been rough, obviously. And there is an expectation now that maybe Sebastian will snowball this, but we don't know. Sebastian's not booming. It's not like he has a massive eco lead. This is an all-in from Sebastian. Not as all-in as you've ever seen because he still held on to the stone, but this is a lot of aggression coming from him. Z40 pulls the army to the side, but Sebastian just gets on the other side of the villager and gets the villager kill there. The weakness of farming so far away from your TC, especially on the front. And the weakness of walls like this because you can't farm back here. And another villager's found. Sebastian's starting to pick him apart. 40 seconds away from the next stage now is Z40. And he really has to learn this time to pull the villagers away. And he doesn't do it there. Because he had sent the spearmen this way. Sebastian broke through anyways. So now Sebastian's microing with this army. Sebastian's microing with this army. Z40 has to quick wall like a madman. Break quick walls. But then there's a fight here from Sebastian that Sebastian's going to love. And this is going to lead to a lot of archer deaths. And the knights could still find their way through here anyways. And they do. And GG. And someone in my chat wants me to block him. So I will... Well, okay, he's gone anyways. But I'm a little disappointed because he wanted me to do it. And now I don't get the satisfaction. But I guess thank you, mods. Well, we'll take a look at the stats here. And 29 kills for Sebastian. 11 deaths. And it was as clean as can be. I think we saw Z40 fall apart many different times throughout that game. And he probably just felt very defeated. And I think at this point, I think stat-wise, he is actually out of the picture. We'll double check on that, though. Take a quick look. But that should cement his place back, well, down in silver. And he'd have to qualify again if he ever wants to compete again. Hope he does. Let's see, though. Sebastian, 3-0. And yes. So now the bottom three are set in this group. It will be Target staying alive in gold for the next season. So 4th place. 5th place is Matador, and then 6th place is Z40. Matador will be pretty happy with his showing, at least getting 5 wins, but I know he's disappointed he's relegated. Z40 will probably be disappointed as well. Now, Z40 can get more wins, and he could kind of spoil Heart's attempt at trying to get first. Or, you know, Heart's attempt at trying to get second. But stat-wise, looks like the series between Sebastian and Nikov is going to decide a lot. It actually says that this is interesting. The stats here say it's 50-50 for first place. But let me think about this. Well, that basically, it comes down to one game, I guess, which is why it says that, right? And I suppose the chance for Hart now, let me just think about this. Hart, I think, will 3-0 Z40. So if Hart 3-0 Z40, he goes second. And then whoever wins Sebastian Nikov goes first. And whoever loses Sebastian Nikov goes third. Ooh, that's huge. Wow, okay. But Hart can't get first. But Hart getting second would be a pretty big deal. So remember, second place in this group, in Group A, would play third place in Group B. And we don't know Group B yet. But this is Group B. It looks like second place in Group B will be Winchester. And whether that's Winchester or Capoch, as again, there's now a lawnmower outside my freaking window. I hope you guys can't hear it. I don't know how you can. It's very loud. Well, anyways, second place here is going to play third place in the other group. So you really don't want to be third place in the other group because you don't want to face a big name like Capoch or Winchester. I think Mihai is an easier task. You hear it now? Okay, well. Sorry. That hopefully, it must be like the biggest mower ever. So they're going to get the job done quickly, trust me.